A University of Arizona study measured water temperature inside a $1 garden hose left in the sun. Peak reading 152 degrees Fahrenheit. That is hotter than the water heater you paid $2,000 to install. And every plumber in America hopes you never find out why. The average family spends between $400 and $600 every single year just heating water. That is 18% of your entire home energy bill. Gone forever, flowing into a system that has known since 1891 that a black rubber hose does the same job for free. This is the story of the cheapest hot water system ever built, why it was erased from public memory, and exactly how you can build one yourself for less than the price of a coffee. Welcome to Forbidden Camping, where we crack open the vaults the industry sealed shut. Now let me take you back to a workshop in Baltimore, 1891. A man named Clarence Kemp stands over a metal tank he has painted black and placed inside a wooden box topped with a glass lid. He filled that tank with cold water before sunrise. By 2 in the afternoon, without lighting a single match, without burning a single piece of coal, the water inside was hot enough to scald skin on contact. Kemp was not a university professor. He was not an engineer working for a gas company. He was a tinsmith, a man who fixed gutters and shaped metal containers for a living. But Kemp understood something the modern energy industry has spent over a century and hundreds of billions of dollars trying to bury. Dark surfaces absorb solar radiation and convert it directly into thermal energy. No moving parts, no combustion, no monthly subscription fee. Kemp called his invention the Climax Solar Water Heater and began selling it door to door across the American South and into the sun-drenched suburbs of California. By 1900, more than 1,600 Climax units were installed in homes across Southern California alone. Entire neighborhoods were heating all their household water without paying a single cent to the gas company. Families ran hot baths, washed dishes, and cleaned clothes using nothing but water the sun had heated for free. The gas companies watched their revenue projections collapse in real time, and they did not sit idle. But here's the part nobody tells you. Clarence Kemp was not even close to being the first person who discovered this. He arrived 2,000 years late to a party that every major civilization on Earth had already attended. Japanese communities had been heating communal baths using wooden barrels, painted black, and placed in open courtyards since the 1700s. And long before them, Roman bathhouses used lead pipes routed deliberately across sun-exposed stone terraces to preheat water before it ever reached the furnaces underneath. For over 2,000 years, every civilization on every continent that touched this idea arrived at the exact same conclusion. Dark pipe plus sunlight equals free, hot water. The physics have never changed, not once in 2 millennia. What changed was who started losing money when you learned about it. So if this knowledge is 2,000 years old, why is it not standard equipment in every American home? Here is where the story turns ugly. The gas industry declared war. By the 1920s, their lobbyists had infiltrated state governments across America, rewriting residential plumbing codes from the inside. The changes were subtle, but devastating. Passive solar heating was quietly reclassified as non-standard. That single word destroyed everything. Non-standard meant that no licensed plumber in the country could legally install a passive solar water system without risking their professional certification, their livelihood, their ability to feed their families. The industry did not need to prove that solar heating was dangerous. They just needed to make it professionally suicidal to install. Then their racer went deeper. Utility companies funded advertising campaigns telling homeowners that solar heating was primitive, unreliable, and beneath the standard of a modern American household. Plumbing trade associations quietly removed every reference to solar thermal heating from their professional training manuals. Trade schools across America deleted passive solar from their plumbing curriculum entirely. By the 1950s, an entire generation of plumbers was graduating without ever hearing the name Clarence Kemp. Then came 1973. The OPEC oil embargo hit America like a freight train. Gas prices quadrupled overnight. Heating bills exploded. Millions of desperate homeowners searched frantically for any way to cut their energy costs. They asked their plumbers. They asked their neighbors. They asked anyone who would listen. And almost nobody remembered. The erasure had been so thorough, so methodical, that an entire nation facing an energy crisis could not recall a solution that had worked perfectly for 2,000 years. The answer was sitting in their backyards, in their garden sheds, coiled up next to the lawnmower, and they had no idea. The industry did not hide this because it was dangerous. They hid it because it was free. And free is the one thing a $60 billion system cannot survive. Now think about what that number actually means. The water heater manufacturing industry in the United States alone generates over $28 billion in annual revenue. That number only covers the hardware. When you add the gas utility fees, the electric bills, the plumber service calls, and the annual maintenance contracts, the total ecosystem built around heating your water exceeds $60 billion every single year. $60 billion flowing through a system that depends entirely on one thing: your belief that you need their product to get hot water. The moment you coil a black garden hose on your roof and connect it to your shower, you exit that entire system permanently, and you take your $500 a year with you. You cannot patent a garden hose sitting in the sun because the concept has existed for 2,000 years. You cannot create a subscription model for sunlight because nobody owns the electromagnetic spectrum. You cannot charge a monthly maintenance fee for a coil of rubber tubing that has no moving parts, no filters, no electronics, and nothing that can break down or wear out. And that is precisely why this method had to be erased from public knowledge with surgical precision. But here is what the industry forgot. You cannot bury physics. You cannot lobby away the electromagnetic spectrum. You absolutely cannot stop sunlight from heating a black rubber hose full of water, no matter how many billions of dollars you pour into trying. Today, a $1 garden hose from any hardware store does exactly what Kemp's Climax did over 130 years ago. And in some ways, it does it better. Let me show you exactly how. A standard 50-foot black garden hose holds approximately 1.3 gallons of water. When left coiled in direct sunlight on a dark surface for just 2 hours on a summer day, that water reaches between 120 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The United States Department of Energy recommends setting your home water heater to 120 degrees to prevent scalding. Your $1 garden hose in July exceeds that recommendation with zero electricity, zero gas, and zero monthly cost. The Arizona study I mentioned earlier went even further. Researchers measured water temperatures inside black polyethylene tubing exposed to direct desert sunlight. Peak readings hit 152 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to cause a third-degree burn in under 2 seconds. And the researchers noted something remarkable. This level of thermal gain required no reflectors, no insulation, and no mechanical components whatsoever. Just black tubing in the sun. Compare that to the average tank water heater installation, which costs between $800 and $2,000 upfront, plus $40 to $60 per month in gas or electricity to operate for the rest of its life. Over 10 years, a family of 4 will spend between $4,000 and $6,000 on water heating alone, and every single dollar goes to gas utilities and electric companies, who have known since 1891 that a black hose in the sun does the same job for absolutely nothing. Now here is exactly how to build your own solar water heater using nothing but a garden hose and a few dollars worth of hardware store supplies. Step 1. Buy a standard 50-foot black garden hose, 3/4-inch diameter for maximum water volume. The cheapest one on the shelf works perfectly. If the only hose available is green or another color, wrap it in black electrical tape or spray it with flat black paint, the kind that costs $2 a can. Either method works. The sun does not care about brand names. Step 2. Coil the hose into a flat spiral on any surface that gets direct sunlight for at least 4 to 6 hours per day. A south-facing roof section works best, but a concrete patio, a wooden platform, or even a sheet of plywood painted black will do the job. Pro tip: if you place the coil on a reflective surface like aluminum foil or a car windshield sunshade, you can boost temperatures by another 10 to 15 degrees. The key is surface contact. The more hose touching a dark, sun-heated surface, the faster your water heats. Step 3. Elevate the coil at least 3 feet above the point where you want hot water to flow out. Gravity does the work that an electric pump would normally do. No pump means no electricity. No electricity means no cost. No cost means no monthly bill. Ever. This is the same principle the Romans used 2 millennia ago. They did not have electric pumps either. Step 4. Connect the input end of the hose to your outdoor spigot or rain barrel using a standard garden hose connector. Then connect the output end to wherever you want hot water delivered. For an outdoor shower, attach a simple shower head adapter that costs less than $5. For a camp kitchen, run the output through a basic ball valve to control flow rate. For a van build, run the line through a window seal and straight to your sink. Step 5. Wait 2 hours. On a sunny day between May and September in most of the continental United States, the water coming out of that hose will be between 120 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a full hot shower powered by nothing except sunlight hitting a black rubber hose. Total cost of the entire system? Between $1 and $8 depending on what you already own. Over 5 years, this garden hose system pays for itself roughly 600 times over. That ratio is so absurd that the industry literally cannot allow you to know it exists. Now, I need to be completely honest with you about one limitation. This system performs best in warm and sunny climates between April and October. In northern states during deep winter, output temperatures will drop significantly. This method alone will not fully replace a conventional water heater year-round in Minnesota or Maine. But here is what actually matters. Even in moderate climates, this $1 hose can eliminate 60 to 80% of your annual water heating costs by handling all of your warm season demand entirely for free. That is still $300 to $400 per year back in your pocket from a device that costs less than a gas station coffee. And for off-grid camping, van life, overlanding, and backcountry expeditions, this is not just a money saver. It is unlimited hot water anywhere the sun shines. No propane tanks to refill. No electrical hookups to find. No generator noise at 6 a.m. Just a coil of black hose and the same sun that heated Roman bathwater 2,000 years ago. This knowledge did not die. It waited. It waited in dusty patent offices, in forgotten history books, in the muscle memory of cultures that heated water for thousands of years before anyone ever thought to charge money for it. The physics never changed. The sun still rises every morning, and a black hose still turns cold water into hot water exactly the way it did for Clarence Kemp in 1891 and for Roman engineers 2,000 years before him. The only thing that changed was who controlled the story. Now you control it. If this vault opens something for you today, share it with someone who deserves to stop handing $600 a year to an industry that has been lying to them since 1920. Every share sends this knowledge to someone the industry prayed would never find it. The next vault opens soon, and what the industry buried inside that one is even heavier.